Imagine you are holding the ball. Your teammate is to your left, but a player is already sprinting at him, cutting off that pass before you even play it. The player to your right, same thing. Covered. Gone. You look forward. Blocked. You look back to your goalkeeper, but there is someone between you and him too. In less than 2 seconds, you have gone from a professional footballer with every option in the world to a man with nowhere to go, nobody to pass to, and a player screaming towards you at full pace. You panic. You misplace the pass, and in that single moment of panic, your team is already dead. This is the suffocation protocol, the most psychologically devastating, physically punishing, and tactically ruthless pressing system ever designed. It is not just about working hard, it is about engineering a complete collapse of the opponent's ability to think clearly, pass accurately, and function as a team. And today, we are going to pull it apart, layer by layer, until you understand exactly why the best teams in the world have been broken by it, and why most managers are still trying to find the answer. Before we go deep, we need to destroy a very common misunderstanding. Most people think pressing means run at the player with the ball, chase them, make them uncomfortable. That is not pressing. That is just chasing. And chasing, without a system, is one of the most dangerous things a football team can do. Because if your players chase individually, they leave gaps, and smart opponents walk straight through those gaps and attack with massive amounts of space. True pressing, the suffocation protocol, is something completely different. It is a coordinated military operation designed to achieve one specific goal: force the opponent into a position where every passing option is blocked at exactly the same moment. Think about the difference between one soldier running at an enemy alone and a full squad deploying in a coordinated ambush formation, cutting off every escape route simultaneously. One soldier gets overpowered. The squad wins every time. In football terms, the suffocation protocol works exactly like that squad. When the player on the ball is pressed, his teammate receiving options are already being shadowed. Not just the nearest option, every option, all at the same time. The ball carrier looks left, blocked, right, blocked, forward, blocked, back, blocked. The walls close in from every direction at once. This is how the suffocation works. And there are 3 key principles that make it function. Principle 1. Compactness. The pressing team stays close together, a tight unit that moves as one body across the pitch. No gaps, no spaces between the lines for the opponent to play through. Principle 2. Trigger points. The press is not constant. It is activated by specific moments: a bad touch, a slow pass, a goalkeeper receiving the ball, a center back turning away from goal. These are the moments the press is unleashed, like a trap that springs only when the prey steps in exactly the right place. Principle 3. Collective punishment. When one player presses, every other player around him simultaneously adjusts. The pressing player is the front of the trap. His teammates are the walls. Together, they create a cage with no door. Understanding these 3 principles is understanding everything. The suffocation protocol did not appear overnight. It was built across decades by 3 football minds who each took the idea one step further than anyone before them. The blueprint, Rinus Michels. We talked about Cruyff's total football in a previous video, but one of its hidden ingredients was early pressing. Michels believed that winning the ball high up on the pitch, close to the opponent's goal, was more valuable than winning it deep, because when you win it high, the opponent is already out of defensive shape. They're already in danger. This was a revolutionary idea at the time. Most teams were happy to win the ball anywhere. Michels wanted to win it in the most dangerous possible location. The seed was planted. The first machine, Arrigo Sacchi. In the late 1980s, Arrigo Sacchi built an AC Milan team that took Michels' idea and turned it into a precise military operation. Sacchi's most famous weapon was his defensive line, 4 defenders moving together as a single unit, stepping forward in perfect synchronization to trap opponents in offside positions or to close down space before the ball even arrived.
Saki famously said, "Football is not about the ball, it is about the spaces," and his press was designed entirely to destroy the opponent's spaces before they could use them. AC Milan won back-to-back European Cups, playing football that journalists at the time described as suffocating, which is exactly where our title comes from. The perfected weapon, Jurgen Klopp, and then Klopp. At Dortmund first, then at Liverpool, Klopp took everything Michels and Saki had built and added one devastating extra ingredient: pure, ferocious, organized emotional energy. He called his system Gegenpressing, a German word that means counter-pressing. The idea, the moment you lose the ball, you press immediately to win it back. You don't retreat, you attack the attacker. Because in the 3 to 5 seconds immediately after losing possession, the opponent's players are not yet in their attacking positions. They're still in transition, still unorganized, still looking at the ball, not at the space. Those 3 to 5 seconds are a window, and Klopp's teams were trained to explode through that window every single time. His Liverpool side of 2019-2020, champions of England by 18 points, executed this so consistently, so relentlessly, that opponents genuinely did not know how to survive it. The protocol had been perfected.
Here's something that tactical analysts talk about, but that television rarely shows you. The suffocation protocol doesn't just win balls, it breaks minds. And understanding the psychological dimension is what separates a basic understanding of pressing from a true understanding of the suffocation protocol. When a player is pressed hard, repeatedly, relentlessly, in every single match, something happens to them mentally that is very difficult to overcome. They start making decisions faster than their brain can process. Think about what that means. In a normal football situation, a player receives the ball, scans the pitch, identifies the best passing option, and plays it. This process takes roughly 1 to 2 seconds, quick but manageable. Now, the pressing team arrives before that process is complete. The player receives the ball. Immediately, a body is in his face, inches away, full sprint, maximum aggression. The brain reacts to physical threat before it reacts to tactical information. It is biology. It is millions of years of human instinct. Before the player has even looked up, his body is already in panic mode. The scan is shorter, the passing decision is rushed, the execution is imprecise. And a slightly imprecise pass played under pressure to a teammate who is already being shadowed is exactly what the pressing trap was designed to produce. It is an engineered mistake, a mistake that was decided not in that moment, but 5 seconds earlier when the pressing team positioned themselves perfectly, cut off every route, and triggered the press at the exact moment of vulnerability. The most devastating version of this psychological collapse happens to goalkeepers. A goalkeeper, pressed by a striker as he receives a back pass, has perhaps 1 second to make a decision. His options? Play short, but short passes are covered. Play long, but long passes under pressure are inaccurate. Play out the back, but the pressing team has already rehearsed exactly that movement. The goalkeeper kicks long, aimlessly, into the stands, or worse, straight to the pressing team's midfielder. And in that moment, the entire defensive structure of the pressed team has been bypassed. The fortress wall was never breached from the outside. It collapsed within. Watch this. The opponent's center back receives the ball, 30 meters from his own goal. Normal situation, safe, comfortable. Now, watch the pressing player. He's not sprinting at the ball. He's positioning himself at a specific angle, cutting off the easiest pass back to the goalkeeper, forcing the center back to play forward or sideways. 1 second. The wide midfielder shifts across, covering the left-sided pass. That option closed. The pressing striker steps onto the line between the center back and his teammate in midfield. That option gone. 2 seconds. Now there are no clean options. The center back looks right, covered, left, covered, back, too risky. The pressing player is blocking the angle. He tries to dribble out. 3 seconds. The press converges. 2 players now, coming from different angles. Not the same angle, different angles, so the dribble has nowhere to go either. The ball is won. Instantly, the ball goes forward, 1 touch, into the striker, already positioned between the last 2 defenders. 4 seconds. Goal. From defensive safety to devastating attack because of positioning, angles, triggers. Not pace, not power, not luck. A system executed perfectly. Every elite manager in the world today has studied the suffocation protocol. They know how it works. They have watched hours of footage. They have built training sessions designed to prepare their players for it. And yet, season after season, teams are still broken by it. Why? Because the press is not a tactical problem you solve with information alone. It is a physical problem, a psychological problem, a timing problem. You can tell your center back, when you are pressed, play the ball quickly to the right midfielder. Simple instruction. He understands it. But when a 190-centimeter striker is sprinting at him at full speed, and the crowd is roaring, and it is the 75th minute and his legs are exhausted, his brain defaults back to panic. Information alone cannot override biology. The only teams that consistently beat the press are the teams who have trained the escape routes so many times that the response becomes automatic. Guardiola's City are the best example. Their players train passing combinations under pressure so obsessively that by match day, the decision is already made before the press arrives. But that requires months of drilling, enormous tactical intelligence from every player on the pitch, and complete trust in the system, even when it feels terrifying. Most teams, even very good ones, cannot sustain that level of precision under real match pressure, and that's why the suffocation protocol keeps winning. It does not rely on the opponent making a mistake. It manufactures the mistake. Here's your question for today. Which team do you think executes the suffocation protocol most ruthlessly right now in any league in the world? Is it Klopp's former Liverpool, Guardiola's City on a pressing day, a Bundesliga team, an underdog nobody talks about? Drop your answer in the comments below and tell me, have you ever watched a match where the press was so good the other team looked like they forgot how to play football? Because that's the moment you know the protocol is working. If this kind of tactical deep dive is what you're here for, subscribe right now. Every week we go deeper into the hidden systems that decide who wins and who gets destroyed. The battlefield is always the same, but the weapons keep evolving.